All right, welcome to another episode of Levi in the Closet. Thank you guys for checking out the video. Before I get started, I'm just gonna plug myself here a little bit. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment on the video if you're feeling a little bit saucy today. So, without further ado, getting into my item of the day. If you haven't seen my videos before, I like to show off an item out of my closet because I feel like I've got a pretty unique style and I like, just unique clothing, stuff that you don't normally see. So I just show you guys a little bit, and then maybe you can feel some inspiration from my style and kind of use that in your own way. Kind of find your own style to stand out and be unique. So anyway, I digress. Getting into my item of the day. This is the Joe Boxer smiley face, tongue out, classic. Like, I love it. It's that complete yellow color. This is, in my mind, when I think of Joe Boxer, this is what I immediately think of, just because of it's an iconic vintage brand. I don't even consider it vintage because they still make clothing, but like they do have older stuff, probably like 90s. And I love this brand. Just something about it just screams my childhood to me. Like, I don't know what my dad had. My dad used to have something that was Joe Boxer. I can't remember what it was, but like it just reminds me of my childhood for some reason. I love the smiley face. This one I wore to an Earth Gang concert. If you don't know the rap duo Earth Gang, I'm trying to find it. Oh, here it is. Okay. I wore this to that concert. Had the overalls on. I had the overalls. I had this on with half the overalls hanging out so you could see the complete face. And I got them both to sign it here. I think I might have talked about this in one of my earlier videos, but my earlier stuff didn't get as many views, so I want to pull this out and, show you guys again because I think this is such an awesome piece. And then the fact that they autographed it here, no relation to them. This is just what I was wearing at the time, and I was like, oh, that'd be really cool to get their autograph on the sleeve of my shirt. And yeah, I went to that concert. It was a great time. I had a really good time with my brother. We went to that one. Awesome. What else can I say? Staple, Joe Boxer. Like, if you see Joe Boxer in the thrift, I suggest picking it up. And usually they have pretty unique stuff. Sometimes it's just like, a pair of boxer briefs or whatever, but then it's like, it's got the name around the band or something about it, it just makes it stand out. Joe Boxer, keep your eye out for something like that if you're in the thrift. All right, so getting into my topic of the video. Oh my goodness. Just what a week it has been. And the week's not over. It's Thursday now. I just really felt inspired to make a video. I don't know when I'm going to put this out. Probably soon, if not this coming Wednesday, maybe before then. But anyway, so there's this girl. I don't know if I've talked about her in previous videos, but I've been seeing her for a while. She lives far away. She lives in Vermilion, and I live in Valley Springs, and that's about an hour and 15 minutes away from where I live. So if I want to see her or she wants to see me, one of us has to drive to go see the other one. And usually she comes to see me, and I don't like driving, so that works out pretty well, and it's a good dynamic, and I've enjoyed her company, and things have gone pretty smoothly. We went to the zoo already. We went to the Oklahoma Zoo, or no, Omaha. My bad, not Oklahoma. I'm going crazy. Omaha Zoo, and we've seen each other quite a few times actually, and so things have been going smooth until this week. We started talking, and she messaged me something about, oh, if I didn't know any better, I would have said something about you being busy with your health. Okay. All right. Clarify a little bit. Because I said something in a reply to a picture she sent me. I was like, oh, if I wasn't busy today, I'd be on my way to see you right now. And she's like, oh yeah, if I didn't know any better, I would have said, yeah, busy with all your hoes. I was like, oh man, that's hilarious. Like, I don't confirm or deny. I do like to keep the options open. Like, I tell every girl this. It's like, yeah, I'm casually dating, so I like to keep my options open. I'm not trying to be too serious, but I'm not saying like, oh, I'm out here sleeping with this many girls. There's other guys that like that. They like having a rotation. I can't really handle that. I'm pretty busy as it is. So like throwing in a bunch of girls into my schedule when I'm supposed to be focusing on myself, like I just can't do it. Like, I can focus on one girl at a time, or maybe two. I've done 3 girls. I've dated 3 girls at one time. But anyway, I'm getting way off topic here. Um, so she said that, and then the dynamic kind of switched from that point up until today, and that was early in the week, maybe last week, late last week. I can't remember exactly, but um, then I kind of made a joke at it and about it. I said something about pimping it easy, and then the conversation just kind of ended there, and it didn't feel like unnatural. It was just kind of like, okay, sometimes we don't talk all day long. It's like, okay, we finish our conversation up, then we'll talk again whenever something else comes up, or like whenever it's just to say like, oh hey, I'm thinking about you, or just to send each other like a song. That's usually our communication. It's not communicating all day long and texting and whatnot, which is what everybody should be doing. You shouldn't be talking all day long. You should have other things that you're busy with other than just talking to this person. All right, keep that in mind. I think that's the one thing we're getting right too. We are doing pretty right in my mind as far as how things should be done in a dating situation. All right. So that being said, I think she called me after that. It might have been the same day. She called me and she just said something about how she wants to focus on herself and how she needs some time just to kind of focus on getting a new job because she just graduated from college with her I can't remember exactly. I think it's a bachelor's degree. She graduated with a degree, and so now she's trying to find a job within her major. And so I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I don't want to distract you from that. This is very near the time that she just graduated, so that's important, finding a job. You know, she has kids too. I don't have kids. She has children, and I understand that. And then we both understand this dynamic. So everything's been good up to this point. And so I understood, and I was like, okay, I realize that that's important for you. Like, you need to get this job. You're applying. You want to focus on yourself. That's totally fine. I get that. And she said, okay, I knew you'd understand. And I was like, yeah, like, I joke about it and like give her a hard time and stuff, but like, really, I do understand, and I try to communicate with her the best that I possibly can. And I think that's something that we're doing well with. And then days go by after this call that we had, and I hadn't heard from her, and I was like, oh, I think I kind of know what's going on here. She said she needs space. I told her, I'll respect your space. I won't, try to interfere. I want to give you, the time that you need, and I want to respect that. So this is kind of the no communication thing here. And usually this is something I've encountered in a negative way. It's never been a positive outcome. Like, this is the first positive outcome that I've had from this no contact, because usually it's initiated because of some kind of punishment. Like, that's what I've seen. That's what you've been told. It's like, oh, if you want to, you're punishing a girl or you're trying to right the dynamic, it's like, okay, here this is. But I knew nothing was going on with us. And I understand that sometimes people do this. They're like, they're trying to play harder to get. They want you to think about them, and like, they won't talk to you. It's like playing games and stuff. But I knew, because we had this phone call, that she was just focusing on herself, and I was trying not to take it personal. And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to give her space. She didn't really reach out to me, and then she messaged me on maybe Tuesday. Yeah, it's probably Tuesday, and she said, oh, are you free on Thursday? And that's today. Today is Thursday, and so she said, I'd like to see you. And I was like, dang, I didn't think I was going to hear from you again, because I didn't say why. I just said, dang, I didn't think I was going to see you again. And she's like, so does that mean that you want to get together or not? And I said, okay, I'd like to see you. And she said, okay, good. What time works? We set up the day and time. And then she said bueno. And I was like, okay, muy bien. I just replied, like, sometimes like we're talking Spanish to each other. I don't know. But anyway, I wasn't really even sure if she was going to come, because I've had this situation happen where they're like, okay, sounds good. And then come the date, nothing happens and they don't show up. And so I was kind of curious how this was going to turn out, and it actually ended up being in a positive light. Like, it was a little bit later than we agreed, but she has to drive in, so I'm understanding and I'm a little more lenient on that. Like if she had lived in town here and I'd said, "Oh, be here at 10:30," and she was here at like 11 o'clock, I would be pissed. But she gets here is probably like 10:45, and for like 15 minutes I'm sweating. I'm like, we agreed on 10:30, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm just tripping right now. She's totally gonna show up. Like I didn't feel like I needed that reassurance. I didn't need to text her and be like, "Oh, hey, are you on the way?" That was also another thing that kind of made me feel like there was something off that we needed to talk about, because she didn't text me and say like, "Oh, hey, I'm on my way. I'm gonna be there at this time," and she's usually done that. But we agreed on the time. I just had to put my trust in her, kind of reaching a different level of my my comfort, if that makes sense. Because usually in dating, I like to be very in control of that, just because I think I've had these bad experiences in the past, and I'm trying to control all the situations. Like this, it's got to be this time, it's got to be this place, it's got to be this and this and this. And I'm kind of learning to be a little bit more lenient, because I understand that she's busy, and she's actually a busy woman. You know what I mean? She's not just a girl that says like, "Oh, I'm busy," and then they're just going out and drinking and just sleeping or whatever. Like girls that play games will say, "Oh, I'm so busy. My life is so crazy." And I'm like, "Really? What are you doing?" Like my life is busy. I'm working and paying bills. You know what I mean? I know you don't have a car. Like, how are you busy? You don't even have a car. How are you getting anywhere? You're probably just busy walking around, you know? But anyway, that was a good one. I gotta pat myself on the back for that one. All right, but anyway, we ended up having this conversation later. We walked down to the bar. We got a drink. We're sitting outside, and she's like, "Oh, so I was originally gonna send you this message that I need you to block me because I couldn't block you." And then she deleted that message and then said that she wanted to see me. So like something changed, and I was like, "Oh well, I'm glad you said you wanted to see me, because if she would have said, like, you're gonna have to block me, like, I would have done it. Don't tell me to block you and then don't mean it. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that she changed her mind. But I knew, because you know what I mean, I understood where we were at. We're together. She came here to see me. She said she wanted to see me, but at the time I can understand, because I think there's only a couple reasons why somebody goes no contact on you. It can be the negative reason, because you do something that's like, ridiculous, or kind of turns them off. So then they're like, "You know what? I don't want to talk to this person." Like, not even doing no contact. That's just like, I'm not even talking to this person again. They've completely turned me off. There's that. And then there's also somebody's playing games, like they're trying to mess with your head, and they're trying to get you to think about them, and they're really not mature, and they can't just say what they need. They want the affirmation. You know what I mean? They're immature, and they're going to play games and go no contact. There's no contact that you initiate, because and this is kind of like SOS emergency situation for guys in dating, right? If you don't know this is something you need to know. Like, go no contact. It kind of corrects the dynamic. Like, you need to have your masculine and feminine dynamic. If you're going smooth along and then something happens, like maybe you mess up, or like you guys get in a fight, I would say go no contact. Just kind of give each other space. Just kind of give each other time to think about what you said. Think about your reaction, how you reacted, and the way you need to react in the future. What you're going to say to your partner in the future. You're just giving each other space, giving each other time. You know what I mean? And it's not as malicious as I think it's as some people make it out to be. In my mind, I try not to be malicious in my intent with texting or with dating. I'm just using this as kind of time to, refocus myself, just so that I know, okay, I'm in my masculine frame again. I'm gonna address this situation at a later time. You know what I mean? You go no contact, things are a little bit better. It's kind of like time kind of heals. You know what I mean? You say something stupid, maybe she gets offended, and then then don't continue to try to figure it out in the moment. Just be like, okay, I need to give myself some space. I'll address this later, right? That's I'd say the third no contact, and then this no contact, I'd say, this is my first encounter. Maybe no. That's a lie. I've encountered this before, but a girl will say, "I like you a lot, and I'm scared about that," or I'm not sure how I feel about that. I like you a lot, and then she'll say something. It's like it's never anything negative, but it feels that way. It's like you like me, but you are going no contact, like, you know what I mean? But then I think it's time for them to understand. It's like, okay, how do I feel about him? Like, how does she feel about me? And that's what my situation was. Like, she was going no contact, but we had, like I said earlier, we had a phone call. She said, I need time to focus on myself. I need time to kind of correct myself and focus. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, well, I gotta understand. I'll be here, right? I'm chilling. That should be your mindset. You just be like, hey, guess what? I'm cool with that. Don't blow up at her. Don't be like, well, I want to be with you, blah, blah, blah. Or like, fight with her. Just be like, hey, guess what? I'm cool. It'll surprise girls because they're expecting some crazy reaction from you, or for you to blow up and like freak out and cry and like whine and cry and beg and, complain. But then you just be like, okay, all right, that sounds good to me. You know what I mean? I'll be here. You know where I live. Come hit me up when you want to see me. You know what I mean? And that's what happened. So I'm trying to give you guys a real world scenario. This is something that I just dealt with, and I feel like I navigated it the best I could. We had a whole conversation about it, and she apologized like 3-4 times to me because she was saying like that wasn't my intent. And I'm not over there crying and whining about how I feel. I'm just saying like, hey, I was confused because everything was going so smooth, and I know, like, I understood because she was a little bit concerned about how she felt about me and her. You know what I mean? Her kind of liking me a little bit more, maybe investing a little more time into me than she intended to. Because I don't know, maybe I am distracting her, like, without intentionally trying to. I think, maybe that can be distracting. Like, you're thinking about somebody else, you're wondering what they're doing, you're wondering, like, oh, well, maybe they're out with somebody. She was saying these things about, like, getting jealous and stuff, and I think, okay, I understand that. Like, that's not what I want at all. Like, whether it's true or not, I didn't confirm or deny because, I like to be mysterious. But, still giving her, the affirmation that she needed to hear without being like, oh no, I would never cheat on you. I'm loyal, blah, blah, blah. I would just like, make a joke out of it. Or you just say like, oh, okay, like I understand. And then you don't need to go any farther than that. Just be like, okay, I understand. You don't need to say anything that you don't have to. So just after that conversation, I felt better, but also a little bit worse because of the fact that she said she was going to message me, hey, can you block me because I can't block you? You know what I mean? And that kind of hurts just to hear. And everything's fine. And she said that she'd like to continue what we're doing as long as I'm okay with it, having that information now, which I am. I'm an adult. I'll make my own decisions. If it's a mistake, that's on me. I'll figure it out. But like, because I don't think anything really went wrong. She told me why she was acting the way she was, and I understand that. I see that as valid, like a valid reaction to how things have been going, because she even said it herself that things have been going so smooth, and she was about to send this message to me about blocking her, but then she remembered like, oh, we're actually having a good time together. Like, we have fun. We don't fight. It's nice to have somebody there to kind of, be with, but then also like have sex with, somebody you don't have to like sort through, and like we both know we're clean, like we both know that we're gonna be in a safe place, so like we're able to be free and do whatever we want to each other. Basically, it's like you can do what you want to me because I feel safe around you, and vice versa. So then I see this as like the best possible situation, because there's not the commitment of like, oh, we have to see each other all the time, we have to deal with each other's lifestyles and blah, blah, blah. We both have our independent life. We both have our own things going on. She's focusing on herself, which I'm so proud of, like the things that she's accomplished. I'm like, dang, like that's so crazy she's just like Wonder Woman, out here doing all this crazy stuff, going to college, she has a house, taking care of kids, getting a job and stuff. Like, tell me about, and it was just today too, like she got this interview, and it was for the job she wanted, and they asked her to interview, and she's telling me about this job, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Like, who would have thought, and I just think that's awesome. We have a really good dynamic, and I'm excited to continue it because we get along so well, and we're able to just have a good time together and be in our own little world, and it can be that way, I'm not ignorant to life, and I go through things, and I have my own adult responsibilities, but then, once a week or like once every couple weeks now, because, we're both busy doing stuff, we'll get together, we'll be in our own little world for like a day, and then we go back to our lives. And that's what I think is great, like, I hope you guys took something from this. I hope you guys understand. I'm just trying to give you guys my life experiences and my knowledge so that you can become the best man that you can be. There's a lot of guys out here that'll say things, and yeah, it makes sense, and it's a good stepping stone, but after I've, worked through this, I've used those and I've applied those different techniques. I've kind of come up with my own way to navigate it. I think is, like I said earlier, not malicious. I'm not trying to take advantage of anybody or like add to my roster of girls or anything. Like, I'm just looking for somebody to be with that I can care about, that treats me the way I want to be treated, right? So with all that being said, love yourself before anybody else, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.